Hi, Vishal.
Hi, DQ. Welcome to Film Companion, sir.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Good, going on.
Okay, let's
Best
start
to
with let's start with a few serious questions. Okay,
go for it.
tell me a little bit about that decision. When you decide to kind of become a producer, it's something. I mean, every actor in Malayalam kind of thinks of after a point. But then, what is the reason you decided to get into production?
My reasons are a little different from the others uh,
Okay.
because I genuinely, and I've been mentioning this in other interviews also. I love languages. I love to explore, different languages, different characters in Tamil or Telugu or Hindi or whatever. It's not some grand plan of mine to become this so-called pan-Indian actor. I don't understand what that means. I don't think it makes any difference to sort of how my movies are consumed. But because of this greed or this sort of love for other languages, I feel like I do want to continue doing work. If I get an interesting offer in Tamil or Telugu, I do want to continue that because it's a rare opportunity that I've got. So at the same time, I still want to be a part of all of the amazing cinema we're doing in Malayalam. So you can just call me greedy or whatever it is, but I want to try and be everywhere, which is my thinking behind production.
Even last time I kind of spoke to you, I asked you about you were promoting Caravan at that time. I asked you if the script had come to you in Malayalam or Tamil, if you would still have done it. And you said,
Yeah,
yeah, you would have still agreed to do it. The same way when you're choosing to produce a film, of course, the script might not suit you. It might be a female oriented script or it might be an animation film or something like that.
yeah.
But do you somehow get the feeling when you listen to the script that, okay, in some way I should be associated with it?
I do. I think almost all of us actors, there is no real sort of science behind selecting a film. It's you kind of go with your gut or your instinct. It might reflect your personal tastes. It might reflect now. Maybe I might like a certain kind of music. Maybe I'm a bit of a romantic. Maybe I like a certain kind of books. So that might reflect in my choices of films, and that is applicable to actors across the world. So definitely, with Wayfarer Films, I want to explore all kinds of movies. So it can be family cinema, it can be a small film with newcomers like I did with Maniyarayile Ashokan, it can be a massive production like we're doing with Kuru. But I ideally want to, but I want to do it, entirely on our own. So I don't want to kind of outsource anything. I want to build my own team. So it's what we did from the ground up, which is why we started with a small film like Maniyarayile Ashokan. We launched all five departments of that film was new. The writer was new, the DOP was new, the director was new, music director was new, even publicity, stills, all of that was new. Along with that, my production team was new. They were guys who were not from the industry, who quit fairly good jobs to come and work in cinema because they love the movies. And then it helped me. I was like, let's start with a small film, and then between we committed, we had Varney Ashram already committed. So I said that way we can build a foundation and then scale up to Varney, and then we scaled further to Kuruk. But all these three films have been entirely made by my team of people. I'm very proud of that.
I watched Maniyarayile Ashokan, and I think it's like a very good-looking film. Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of pain and effort has gone into to construct those moments, right? Those moments that are nothing. It's not about dialogue. It's not about anything. It's to try to create something in slow motion and things like that.
yeah.
Is there a regret when you watch that film now that, oh, this would have looked so much better on the big screen because it's meant for the big screen? So when you
Correct.
kind of watch it on the phone, do you feel like I wish this had come out on the
I mean, I'm hoping people aren't watching it on their phones and at least on a TV screen.
yeah.
But see, like when I don't want to meddle too much in the process of the filmmaker. But I remember telling the DOP, I'm like, this is your first film, so you need to really show off. so
You
so
don't need
really
to.
do. I told him to. I said you should,
You should show
show
off.
off.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like show us all your skills, And that was the only kind of brief I remember kind of having given the DOP, young gentleman named Sajad Kaku, and it's a beautiful looking film,
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah.
and in no ways can you say it had poor production values in any which way. So it was. I mean, it is sad that it can't be watched in cinemas, but I'm still glad that people still at least got to see the film, and I'm glad that for Onam we still got three new releases. If this option wasn't there, then we just wouldn't have had new content. For God knows, it's already been 6 months, maybe, and if it takes another 6 months, so imagine going an entire year, without new content from Malayalam filmmakers. So I'm very grateful, to like Netflix for giving us that opportunity.
See, originally, if this film was meant for the OTT, do
Yeah,
you think your star cameo would have been a part of the script? Isn't that a very theater kind of way of thinking?
correct. But I find it very embarrassing to kind of do cameos in my own film
Hmm.
as a producer. I think that movie starts the first 5 minutes. There's all these thank you cards, and there's my
Yeah,
production now is
it's
produced by
very
Dulquer
sweet. The thank
Salmaan.
you card is very personal.
Yeah, that. But then after that, you get into produced by Dulquer Salmaan and Gregory, and then I start the voiceover, and then the first song hits and it's my voice. I was like dying. I was cringing, and I was like, I didn't realize this is how it's going to come together.
Yeah.
So when I first watched it, I was like, is this like ODing on me, sort of thing. So, but when a bunch of these new kids come for the first time and they're making this film that they've really excited about, they really have big dreams on it, and they say, hey, can you please do a small role in the film? Then it becomes very difficult for me to like say no, I can't because of whatever reason. So in my head, it wasn't the thinking wasn't, oh, it's gonna get some cheers in the cinema, so we can sell it better. I genuinely, I think, just when the way they asked me, I found it difficult to say no. Though, of course, like in my own production, when I have a bit of an intro, I want to like hide in my seat. I want to like cover my face somewhere because I don't. I'm very bad at promoting myself and pitching myself. Like even my own movies, I think it took me a long time to be open to getting a major classic intro shot.
Yeah. Which
So it
film
took
was
me a
that?
long. I can't name
CIA?
one in particular, but I guess CIA for sure.
Hmm.
Even like a Neelagasham was a fairly
Yeah, an
um,
intro. Yeah.
general sort of walking into frame. I don't think it was a major intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me a long time to warm up to that idea. I was like, I'm not the star. I can't. It's very difficult for me to accept myself as that. But again, with these kids, I couldn't really. I felt bad saying no. It's almost like I have to kind of stay with the film as much as I can.
What about reviews? Like coming to the OTT phase, do you think reviews and things like word of mouth matters anymore?
I feel like it's the whole thing is they're all interlinked, right? It's like there's one industry and there's so many other things that are kind of connected to it or supplying to it or catering to it or whatever. So there's no way I can make a film and be like nobody review it or whatever, or like hey, you can't
Yeah.
say something bad about the film. That comes with part and parcel of it. Um, but end of the day, I don't know. This is me personally, so but I'm sure I'm very different from other people. I'm not somebody who decides to whether even read a book based on a review. I might go by
Okay.
rankings. So like sometimes I'll be like, hey, what's the top 10 books that are out, and then I'll read and try to find something that I like, or even with music, because it's very difficult for me to kind of decide with the review whether I will like the film or not. Because I think with any kind of art, it's very objective, right? Like I mean, a painting can be liked by some people and not by others. But I just think I feel like it's so part of the whole process that it's something we're very used to. And a lot of the times I try to, I mean, the negative stuff will affect you, will hurt you. You might lose sleep over for a few days. But then you'll start to think, hey, how do I then not make that mistake? Or how do I then make sure we don't go through this the next time? Or like give them a chance to criticize. So it is definitely what kind of pushes you harder. It definitely steers you in the right direction. So yeah, it's something that I'm kind of like I've gotten used to it. I've become open to it. When you're young and starting out, you're very insecure and you're very like worried about your future. And I mean, not that I'm not worried about my future now. I always am, but you just kind of take it. Learn how to take it. I think that's what it is.
So the reviews won't affect you as much compared to earlier now?
I think I've gotten better at it, but
Yeah.
I will like I'm obsessive by nature. So
Okay. Yeah.
I will spend like 2-3 days losing sleep over something. Like that's very common. My whole family knows this. Whether it's a movie, whether it's anything, I can have an incident with a friend saying something mean, and I'll
Uh-huh.
mull over it for like for a few days. But I think it's all constructive. It keeps it pushes us to become better.
Okay, let's talk about lighter things now. Just
Yeah.
a few minutes. Tell me about like this lockdown. How when you look back at this phase, how much would you give yourself in terms of like productivity? Is it like has it been like super productive, or have you kind of let go a little, like all of us have?
I definitely let go the first few months of lockdown.
Okay.
I genuinely cherish the time that I've got with my daughter,
Yeah.
uh, because this is a time that I would not have got otherwise. So there's now I have this very strong role to play in her life. Like her everyday routine has me in something or the other. She's like, hey, Papa, you have to give me a bath today, or like you have to read my bedtime story or whatever. Play with her and stuff. So that I'm very grateful for. But also, I have just been able to kind of even with Wayfarer Films, I'm like, hey, you know what? This must be seen as something positive. We have this time, so let's then now brainstorm and see where to steer the company, what kind of projects we should do, or even like when we are sitting on Kurup and and we are like doing the dub, we're sitting on the edit. We're like, hey, we have this time, so why don't we explore every which way that we can edit the film? Why don't we explore a different point of view, a different way to tell the story? Let's see how we can play with the footage. So those things have started happening, and I think that just happens. So, like after a point, you're just like you're not doing anything. So like let's see what are the positive takeaways you can have from this time.
So it's not like you've been working out every day and you've been sleeping only correct 7 hours, 8 hours, or anything like that. There have been days where
No,
you kind of
I train every day because
oh, you're not
more
chill.
than anything, I'm chill. But I'm saying with so much time in the day, it's
Okay,
not like
okay,
I train 7 hours a day. I train
okay, okay.
an hour and a half, so it can be whenever.
Yeah.
But I've taken my time to watch stuff that I want to watch, read things that I want to read, get into the kitchen, or like just a lot of things that I've been meaning to do that and complain that I don't have the time. So those things I've been trying to do.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I'm super productive and all that jazz, but after about 3 months of faffing, it's
Hmm.
important that like then I start to kind of do something worth useful with my life.
So has that been a show that you kind of binged for more than 5 hours, 6 hours a day and all that?
I have, as in I went through, I did all of those shows that I missed out on. Like,
Dark.
I yeah, I not dark. I watched Chernobyl. I like fairly like limited. My wife and me then went on like this is us binge right from the beginning, which was interesting, family and all that jazz. Then I got into a lot of these crime shows and crime thrillers and crime drama, crime documentaries. So watched all of the Jerry Epstein, and I watched
Oh yeah, yeah.
Madman,
Okay.
or like I'm very bad at remembering these things, but for some reason there was a long time when Amal and me would just sit up at night and watch Forensic Files, which is a show that I used to watch when I was in school. That time it
Uh-huh.
was called Medical Detectives.
Yeah, medical
So
detectives. Yeah, yeah, on
yeah, so now
Discovery.
so now that same show,
Yeah.
it's just they've changed the name to Forensic Files. It's the same
Oh,
same
okay,
show.
okay,
So it's
okay,
on Netflix,
okay.
and it's some like 9 seasons and 42 episodes each. So when you
Yeah,
have nothing else to watch,
yeah.
that's like our go-to show. So then we finished the whole of MasterChef, which is probably
Okay.
the reason all of us got back into the kitchen. So
Okay. Okay, Nikhil, next week is Mamuka's birthday. So I wanted
yeah,
to ask you a set of questions, nothing serious again. Are questions that I've always wanted to ask you as a fanboy, okay? Not
yeah.
as his son or anything like that. Quickly, so tell me, what is your favorite Mamuka movie from the 80s?
From the 80s, it's very hard when you. I really love Kana Maraithu.
Kanam, excellent. Okay,
Yeah,
huh.
it's. I really love the fact that he was playing such older roles from his age at that time.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of those. There's so many favorites. It's when you suddenly ask out of the blue, I tend to go blank.
But that's the point. Quickly,
Yeah,
first
that's
name.
fine. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah, Kana Maraithu.
90s.
90s, I want to say there's too many, but like I could say Amaram, I could say Sangam, I could
Okay.
say, oh man. Okay, let's go with those two.
Okay. 2000s?
2000s, probably Big B. Um, what else is there? Again, this whole era is what is stressing me out. That would be when I was Munaripu is 2010.
2010s, yeah.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
So of the 2010s, will you say Munaripu?
Munaripu for sure.
Okay, in terms of looks, okay, we're doing a story on that also. In terms of Mamuka's looks in certain films, what is your favorite look of his, like in a particular film?
As a fanboy, I'd say Samrajya.
Samrajya, oh.
Yeah. It's too
Yeah.
cool. I mean, like you've not seen anything like it.
I mean, the dad look, right? The dad Mamuka.
I mean, like his beard and his
Yeah.
slick
Yeah.
back hair, his suits and all this jazz. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any Mamuka film which you kind of discovered during this phase, which you hadn't seen, which you thought I have to see, but you kind of studied or you rewatched or something like that during this phase?
Actually, just like I think I was watching stuff from Madhulugal and Vidayan because
Yeah,
I
the
haven't
beautiful prints
revisited.
of that. Yeah. The
Yeah,
great
so I
prints of
haven't revisited them in so long, and now they have these
Yeah.
new prints of these films,
Yeah.
and it just baffles me. I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? I need to become so much better.
Yeah.
I think if any of us want a reality check, we just need to kind of go back and
Yeah, and around the same time, right?
yeah,
He must have
around
done
the same
Madhulugal.
age.
Yeah, around the same age. Yeah.
Could be,
Yeah,
could
that's
be.
too
So
much pressure. That's too much pressure.
correct. So I'm just like, I think for reality check, just kind of look back on my Vamchi or like Lalankel or whoever,
Yeah.
watch their work.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah. Okay, last question, DK. What can you tell us about Kurup? Like, is it a kind of film that you can even imagine releasing it straight onto OTT, or is it a film that deserves?
Definitely not. Like, it's a film that was kind of conceived, planned, made for a theatrical experience, and I definitely want to try and hold it as far as we can and achieve that for sure.
Oh, okay. Thanks so much, TQ. I'm going to start watching a few episodes of Medical Detectives now because
Forensic Files.
Forensic Files. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
Thank you, Vishal.
Thanks so
Good
much.
talking
Thanks
to
so
you.
much.
Take care. Take care.